It has been 139 days since we last recorded an episode, and in the words of the great Lil Wayne, sorry for the wait, but in the paraphrase words of the greatest basketball player of all time,
LeBron James,
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, we're back. I'm Colby, that's Bracky, and of course, this is Bootleg. On this week's show, we will weigh in on UConn to the Big East and what their plan for football should be moving forward. We're headed to the Elite 11 and the opening in Dallas, Texas in a few days, so we'll take a quick early look at that. Towson running back and two-time All-American Shane Simpson will make a guest appearance on the show today. And I have a bold proclamation about the Tigers to follow.
Okay.
And we'll also tell you why some players should be disqualified from signing with programs that they commit to.
I'm really excited about that one.
On Twitter.com. But first, I'd like to kick things off with a gift. Happy football season, Kyle Brackett.
Are you kidding me? Is this real life?
That's real life, man. The future starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, Will Grier.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there you go.
I am shocked.
Good vibes only, man.
What to do.
I know, this is
Holy
real
cow,
life. This is reality TV right now.
unprepared for this. Dang. If I wouldn't mess up my mic and my headpiece and everything, I would put this on right now.
Well, so I've been working all summer to try to bring the jersey back. I'm trying to get Thursdays renamed to Jersdays. And then it recently occurred to me that, like, that means that when we record the show, I'll be in a jersey from now until, like, mid-September, whenever the fall actually arrives. But now you can at least be a part of it.
This is awesome. I'm putting it on.
All right. Well, while he's putting it on, I want you to recap your trip to Baton Rouge for us, because everything that was posted by you or Olivia to Instagram or Twitter was basically just you with your new best friend, Mike the Tiger.
Yeah. So went to Baton Rouge. A friend of ours is getting married, and they had a party, and Olivia's not gonna be able to make the bachelorette, so we wanted to go to something weekend getaway, all that good stuff. So got down there a day early, thought we'd check out LSU. I've never been. Have you been?
No, that's enemy territory for everyone from Northwest
Yes.
Arkansas.
I didn't know if you went to like a road game there or something.
No, it doesn't sound fun to me.
It's actually a lovely town, and campus is really nice. And then, of course, Mike the Tiger, LSU's live mascot, famously lives right beside the stadium. He has his own like enclosure, and just being there, I learned a lot about him. But he is like mesmerizing up close. So we went there the first time when we first got there to check him out. He was in the back, like laying down asleep. We come back later that night, we ate dinner just down the road. So we're like, let's stop back by right before he goes up for the night. And he's just out walking around, like playing up to the people and everything. And it is just insane to watch this 500-pound tiger just walk. Like, there's like two fences in between you, but if they weren't there, I could have reached out and touched him.
So as captivated animals go, he's got it made.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. His enclosure is like a $3 million enclosure. He's got this rock that is temperature controlled, so if it's hot outside, it's cool, and if it's cold outside, it's warm. He has a pool. He's got all this shaded area to where he can hide himself.
He's the envy of Bengal tigers everywhere.
Yes,
is he a Bengal
seriously.
tiger? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. But it kind of got me thinking. It's Mount Rushmore season.
It is.
Because it's the summer and there's not much to talk about.
No.
But there are a lot of live mascots in college football. Just another thing that makes it probably the greatest sport on earth. So I wanted to get your take on what the Mount Rushmore of your favorite live mascots are. Okay,
I'm with that. But what if we called it something other than Mount Rushmore? Because everybody does Mount Rushmore.
They do.
What if we called it like the Totem Pole?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Totem Poles have faces on them.
Yeah.
Just like Mount Rushmore. And, in theory, if we do a snake draft style, then your first pick would go atop your totem pole and then down from there.
Yeah.
So the totem pole of live college mascots.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
in on totem poles.
Before we get into it, I have to know, do people count as live mascots, or does it have to be an animal?
Wow. So it's a good thing you're asking this, because I was going to make the argument that people do count. And, well, they count as long as they're not in this stupid suit. Like, they can't be like the Florida Gator
Okay.
That doesn't count.
I got you. So they have to be.
They can't be in a suit.
They have to be dressed as a human.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense.
Um,
Who's going first?
I don't. Should we? Do we have a coin?
Flip a coin? I don't think we have a coin.
All right. You go first. You go first.
Okay. Well, to the surprise of no one, I would go with Tusk from the University of Arkansas. Giant wild boar, razorback
awesome.
pig. So I went hunting one time with some friends of mine in southwest Oklahoma. And I'm not a big wild game hunter, and I'd never hunted wild pig, boar, whatever, before. And I didn't think it would be that scary. Those little dudes are scary, scary.
Also, not that little.
Well, some of them are little, but
Are
Tusk
they?
is not. Tusk
No,
is
yeah,
a big
Tusk
old
is
boy.
huge. I figured they were all like that.
No, these were little guys, but they were no less frightening.
Yeah.
So apparently they'll like run people up trees,
Oh,
and
man.
they're nothing to mess with. So I think on the.
Did you get one?
Nah, I can't shoot a razorback either. That's
It
another
would
thing.
be, yeah.
I mean, not that I was like qualified or equipped to handle it, but
Yeah.
no, all I did was try to live through the experience.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna go Tusk atop my totem pole.
Okay, that's fair. Atop my totem pole will be Mike the Tiger. It is like, I mean, it's one of the fiercest predators in the world, and you just have him just walking around campus. Like, you can go up to see him anytime you want. They don't bring him to the games as much anymore as they used to, because it's obviously a pretty traumatic experience to put a tiger in a trailer and just drive him around with 100,000 people yelling at him. But he's still over there. He's still it's literally right across the street from the stadium. So you still have all the fans coming over and seeing him before the game. It's the Mike they have right now. He's like a 2-year-old.
Okay.
So he's literally like, he plays. He's like almost like a dog. Like, he like plays, and he has this ball in there, and he was getting in the water when we were there. It was really cool.
You think that him and Hank could be friends?
Yeah, I did actually. After watching that, I'm like, they could be friends. Although you are not supposed to bring your pets near the enclosure because it will get him all riled up.
That makes sense.
Right.
But for Hank, he would make an exception.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Mike the Tiger atop my totem pole.
Okay, well, snake draft, so you got to go again now.
Okay, second pick. I'm gonna go with Ralphie of Colorado.
That was one of mine.
Was
Okay.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. But this is what makes this fun. The run with Ralphie that they do to lead him out onto the field is insane. That is a 900-pound buffalo that like 8 people are holding on to while running very fast.
Yeah.
Like, if he got loose, prayers to everybody involved. But it's all, they practice this. I spent a ridiculous amount of time researching all of these mascots yesterday.
Wow.
And I found a bunch of YouTube videos just on like how they're taken care of with the trainers and stuff. And I found this one on Ralphie. They legit have like conditioning drills and like sprint drills with the people that hold on to him to make sure they're like in shape, ready to roll for this. And then so they bring him around the field, and then they have to run him into his trailer, which I don't know how that doesn't hurt Ralphie to start with. So they just have the trailer open.
PETA is going to be so mad about this whole topic.
So then they just guide him in there.
Okay.
But it's pretty impressive that just a 900-pound buffalo just hangs
Ralphie's
out
the man.
on the sideline.
Ralphie's a man. We've actually passed a field of buffalo, not a lie, on the way to the lake house a few weeks ago, and it's the first time I'd actually seen
Where was
buffalo
this at?
in the wild.
Oklahoma?
No, it was here in Texas.
Oh,
it
okay.
was, I don't know where we were. Some middle of nowhere highway
Gotcha.
between here and like west of Fort Worth.
Gotcha.
I don't know. So yeah, we drove past them. Katie was like, "Oh, buffalo." Normally she freaks out and like yells about random things, like a cow peeing in the middle of the field or whatever, and my life flashes before my eyes over a cow peeing in the field. But this particular time, I was actually excited to see the thing. So yeah, buffaloes are awesome. Buffalo? Is buffalo plural for buffalo?
I think
No, it can't be, because if it was, Colorado would be doing it wrong.
Right.
Buffaloes.
Buffaloes.
Okay.
OES, yeah.
All right. Your next pick.
I did 2 in a row,
Oh,
too.
yeah, you did. Okay. My pick.
Your pick.
I'm going Uga.
Dang it.
Yeah, because for
He was on
one,
mine.
dogs are awesome.
They are.
And Uga's like the king of dog mascots.
Yeah.
And also, he took a pretty good swipe at Bevo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that Bevo didn't instigate it.
He did. That was messed up.
But I think Uga could have taken him.
Yeah.
So I'm going Uga. I don't really have anything to say about it
So-
other than Uga's awesome.
I have some stuff to add here because
Well, feel
I
free.
watched like an 8-minute YouTube
Oh my
video on
God.
this. I procrastinated a lot yesterday with work, so I was just watching a bunch of these videos, annoying wrestling nomad. But so I always find it really funny when people who don't know the college football world do like stories on it. So this CBS reporter did this story on UGA or Uga.
Oh, is it
say
UGA?
I don't know.
Damn, if I can't even say the name
I've
right,
always said
maybe I shouldn't be allowed to
Well,
draft
I've always
UGA.
said UGA, but I don't know if that's right or not. I don't know.
We'll have to get a ruling from Michael Gunter.
Yes. So anyway, she did this like 8-minute story on it, and it's very clear that she just does not understand college football because she's like talking to the family that owns UGA or Uga.
Yuga,
And it has its own like the whole basement is just dedicated to UGA or Uga. And he just lives down there. He has his own climate controlled car, so like the AC can run at all times, like even when it's like off, like it's specially built. It's this red big Suburban, and they drive it. The family lives in Savannah, so it's a 4-hour drive every day to game day. On the sideline, and then when he gets to the hotel, he has his own suite. That is the UGA or Uga suite.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, when he's at the game, his doghouse is air conditioned, and they put a bag of ice in there with him because they're like, Bulldogs are not supposed to go through this heat. But she's like talking to the family that has owned like the past like 6 UGAs or Ugas, and she's like, do you not think that all this is crazy for a dog? And the guy just looks at her and goes, I don't understand your question. It's like
Nor do I, guy.
She clearly just doesn't get college football and what like UGA or Uga means to the University of Georgia.
How to pronounce? We got to get the name right. Oh, I don't need to know how to pronounce Uganda. I got that one. How to pronounce Yuga. UGA. Here's a handful of UGA. No, come on, man. UGA.
It's UGA?
It's UGA.
Okay.
Can confirm. Apologies to the UGA family for messing that one up, but he's on my team anyway.
He is. You got him.
Okay, well, my next pick, I'm going to keep it in the dog family. I'm going to go Smokey from Tennessee. Now, some people are a little triggered about the fact that the Volunteers have a dog for a mascot. But don't they also have like a Davy Crockett looking dude?
They do. Also, like, what is a volunteer? You know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to represent?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you just have like a bunch of like Red Cross members like walk out on the field together.
Right.
Like that could be a
Exactly,
volunteer.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that this is a better choice.
Absolutely.
Smokey's pretty cool looking dude, and if I can build a team of dogs around my Razorback, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so UGA was on mine. I did have Smokey on mine, on the alternate list.
Mascots are on your list? Just out of curiosity.
I have 8 because I wanted to have backups in case you took one of mine.
How many people, dogs, whatever, go on a totem pole? Like Mount Rushmore count. They cut that off at 4, right?
I think we should do 4.
Okay.
We get past that, and then we're getting into the weeds. So for my third one, I'm going to do Renegade, the horse at Florida State.
Damn, that was my next one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I liked it because it was a 2-for-1 because you're going to get Chief Osceola.
Yep, you get Chief Osceola and you get Renegade. There are a lot of horse mascots in college football. Mm-hmm. I know Army's got a couple, and Boomer and Sooner at Oklahoma.
That's right.
Oklahoma State even has one that rides around on the field.
Texas Tech has one.
Yeah, so there's a bunch, but there are absolutely none like Renegade with his
Facts.
spots and marks and whatever you want to call him. He just looks awesome. He also carries a man with a flaming spear out to midfield. That is extremely badass.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I'm going to go with Renegade for my third. And then for my fourth and final, I thought I was really going to have to like argue and make my case for this one. But I'm going to go with the West Virginia Mountaineer. He is a man. He is alive.
Yeah.
And he has to grow that beard. Like, that's a real beard. That's not fake. That is his life, 365 days a year. Well, for 1 year.
You think he goes out like that, dressed like that to the bars?
Maybe not dressed like that, but he takes a beard everywhere with him. He shoots a gun. That's a real gun. Sometimes he also does very mountaineer things and gets DUIs, but that's neither here nor there. I thought I was going to have to, like, really argue with that one, or you maybe push back.
No.
But I think it's he's not in a stupid oversized head mascot like Pistol Pete or something like that.
Just an old raccoon.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Oh, it's a coonskin hat.
Coonskin hat.
Mhm.
All right. R.I.P. raccoon.
So those are my so recap: Mike the Tiger,
Mm-hmm.
Ralphie,
Yep.
Renegade, and the Mountaineer.
Okay. Well, then, for my final pick, I'm going to go with a bit of a dark horse here. Not a horse, though.
Okay.
I'm going Handsome Dan from Yale
That's a good one.
because his name is Handsome Dan.
Yeah,
and that's adorable.
It's a great name.
And if that gives me a team full of dogs to go with the Razorback, I feel like that's perfect.
That is.
So, big dog guy.
You got
that's-
2 Bulldogs, too.
2 Bulldogs, yeah, and then, got Smokey if we need to track anything out in the
Yeah.
woods. The Bulldogs are not going to be great for that, so
Nope.
they could just hitch a ride on the back of Tusk, and
There you
Smokey
go.
can lead the way, and we can do all kinds of, like, search and rescue missions.
Yeah.
We'll be good to go there. Plus, if I ever want to have a fetch or a good cuddle sesh,
Yep.
I'm covered there.
You are.
So, yeah, I like it a lot. So, Tusk at the top, and then Smokey followed by, Ugga, followed
Mhm.
by Smokey and Handsome Dan.
So I had the other notable ones I want to mention. Sir Big Spur at South Carolina.
I saw that one.
He's pretty awesome, and they also incorporate him into like how the team comes out. So he's like up on his little like perch, and he has this covering over him, and then they like rip it off, and it's just him, just sitting there, and everyone goes crazy. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Right
Does he
before the
like
team
make
comes
noise?
out.
He crow or anything? I'm not sure what a gamecock does.
No, he's like they do, but I don't know if he does right then and there. But they play it through the speakers.
Okay.
I don't think they can just make him do it on command.
Well, that's disappointing.
I did have Bevo on here. It's pretty cool, but also
Yeah.
don't try to attack dogs. And then I had Smokey, but there are a few others I just want to touch real quick.
Yeah, feel free.
As frauds,
Oh,
okay.
plot twist. Okay, go.
Auburn has the War Eagle.
Yeah,
You are the Tigers.
you're the Tigers.
Pick one. Honestly, I think you should be the War Eagles.
I agree.
There's too many damn tigers.
Couldn't agree more.
There's already tigers in the SEC, and they have a real tiger.
Yeah,
So
in your own division.
make up your mind. Baylor apparently has live bears on their campus. I've been to their campus multiple times. Have not even heard of these live bears.
Just roaming free on the campus?
No,
or?
no, they're like in an enclosure. They're supposed to be like Mike,
Oh, it had an
Mike the
interesting
Tiger.
element to it.
But nobody knows about them.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know about him.
So no, you don't count.
Baylor's
People
out.
need to know about you. And then Tuffy at NC State, which
Mhm.
I'd never really heard about until doing some research, but he's not a wolf.
What is him?
He's a dog
Just
that just kind of looks like one.
well, all dogs are cousins of
I know,
wolves.
but get a real one. Apparently, one point, the one of the wolves they had bit somebody, and then one time they accidentally bought a coyote.
Oh, whoops.
So they kind of got tricked. So now they just stick
NC
with the
State
dog.
Coyotes.
But
Okay.
those
Does,
people are frauds.
Does UConn have a live They have a live husky?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah,
All right. Well,
and so does Washington.
in retrospect, I should have used UConn's mascot to segue into talking about UConn
Yeah.
football, but I didn't
That's
do
all right.
that.
That's a decent transition right there.
I'm gonna keep Handsome Dan.
Yes,
But UConn has a husky and also a football team.
maybe.
Potentially. So the basketball team goes to the Big East. That's
Mhm.
great for basketball, but they have 22 other sports.
Right.
I'm guessing, give or take.
That's a lot
I
for
feel like I read
UConn.
that.
No, you did. That's right.
So they're all good to go in the Big East. Baseball kind of, but football has no home.
No home. Homeless.
And Conference USA apparently doesn't want them. The MAC apparently doesn't want them. The American definitely doesn't want them as a football-only member
Yep.
because what's the value in that? But I would contend that UConn, in the words of Jim Calhoun, is not bad. They're not bad players.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, look, yeah, they're really terrible right now. They've had a bad run. Their defense last year was historically awful. But it's a team that Skip Holtz and Randy Edsall built into, not a national title contender, but they were winning 8 games a year for a few years in the Big East. They went to a Fiesta Bowl. And all I'm hearing is everybody want to put a little asterisk on the Fiesta Bowl thing and take away from it, which, sure, okay, the Big East was down that year, but they still went to the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
You're telling me the Conference USA and the MACtion is too good for that? I mean, you would know.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, Kent State and to pick a MAC school every 5 years, play in the MAC. Like, they're not good. Kent State, Bowling Green, like, these schools are not good. UConn is definitely just as good as them, and has been to higher heights than them.
Absolutely.
A BCS game.
Definitely higher heights. But look, I don't having said that, I don't necessarily think that UConn should try to go to Conference USA or the MAC or whatever. Like, to me, it's actually a great opportunity for them to see themselves for who they are, and who they are could be potentially a really dominant FCS school. And if you look at, because look, just like everybody's not going to be Alabama, everybody's also not going to be freaking South Florida for that matter. And UConn is probably not going to be a program that can consistently sustain at the top half of a league like the American. Would they be great in the MAC or Conference USA? Yeah, I think they probably would be good enough. But if they would go FCS, yeah, they wouldn't make money off of a league partnership, but they also wouldn't lose money. They could cut down to 65 scholarships right off the bat. Never mind the fact that right now they're on a national travel schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally all over the country. The American is not a regional league. Whereas if they joined, I don't know, the Colonial Athletic Association, all of their travel would be primarily bus. I mean, a few short flights, plus you would cut down on the number of players that you're having to pay to travel, because that's a thing. And you would bring back a lot of natural rivalries with Rhode Island.
Yep.
Obviously, Villanova is the exact same profile as UConn. Really awesome in basketball, plays in the Big East, and then plays in the Colonial in football. And Villanova's had a great deal of success. I mean, 10 years ago, they won a national title. So, I think the UConn fan base would get behind that better than they would get behind playing in Conference USA. At the end, one of the things that's great, in my opinion, about college athletics is that at our core as fans, the thing that we really most enjoy are historic rivalries. Conference expansion kind of messed with a lot of that. I mean, West Virginia has seen it. You're well aware. But for the UConn fans, I think if you want to get the fan base excited, I don't think they would have an adverse reaction to moving back to FCS. I think that they would embrace it if you moved into the right league.
Right.
Which, again, should be
CAA.
Colonial Athletic Association. So that's my thing on UConn. I think that they're being unfairly criticized in the media for being this dumpster fire of a football program, and I don't think they're that. I just think that I think they've been miscast, and I think that they've been in a league that does not fit what they are as a program, and that's okay. But you don't have to get rid of football, and you don't have to stuff your football league in the Sun Belt to make it work. Like, just, move back, pick a league that fits you.
Yeah, this year's schedule is actually kind of nice to them, but they still have to go to Orlando and New Orleans. Everything else, like the Cincinnati's close, Philly's close, but still, a trip to Orlando and New Orleans is not easy.
No, if not to beat a dead horse here, but if you join the CAA, your farthest trip south is Virginia.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a ton of sense. This has nothing to do with any of that, but I read Bill Belichick did an interview with WEEI and told them that he applied to be UConn's coach once and was turned down for a guy named Tom Jackson. Not that Tom Jackson either, just a dude named Tom Jackson, who, in fairness, Tom won 3 Yankee Conference titles, so he wasn't a bum, but he's also not Bill Belichick.
It's pile on UConn week, huh?
That one has to sting. I think it was like 1983, so Belichick was not yet Belichick.
Right,
but God,
of course.
So
that's rough.
That mostly concludes my thought about UConn. I just think if you guys want my advice, I think the conference that you should join is the CAA.
I think you're spot on. You can go to a league where, pun intended, become the big dogs.
Ooh, see what you did there, yeah.
You tell me they can't, maybe not right away, because last year's team was historically bad, but to where you should be able to compete and be in the hunt for a league title every year.
Every year, no question. Okay, I don't have a good segue for this at all, but you have been complaining all week about guys who don't get the school right in a tweet.
Yeah.
And I teased it in the open, and we got to get to it at some point. Now seems like as good a time as any. So please feel free to vent.
So this has been a pet peeve of mine for a while, and it's come up past 3 or 4 weeks where I've seen kids, they either are committing to schools or, I don't want to say bragging, but just putting on social media that they have an offer from a school. And they do the whole thing with, like, blessed to receive an offer from blah, 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 and they put like 3 or 4 pictures of the school. Well, a couple weeks ago, a kid that had just announced his top 5 schools included West Virginia. And obviously, it's WVU. Mm-hmm. It's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious. It's everywhere. Mm-hmm. and he put the University of West Virginia. And I immediately was like, come on. But then I saw it because someone quote tweeted it, and one of the other schools he had in his top 5 was Pitt. And of course, West Virginia and Pitt are big rivals, and you would never want a player to go to Pitt over West Virginia. But some West Virginia fan had quote tweeted him and was like, man, Pitt can have you. And it got like over like 1,000 likes. It's like, wow, we are really not getting this kid. But it's just like, what? How do you not know the name of the school that you are like thinking about going to?
And it happens all the time, though.
Yeah, and when you commit, what are you doing? So I have a rule. I just saw it, I think it was yesterday. A kid tweeted about getting an offer from Arizona State, and one of the 4 pictures he used in his tweet to announce that he had the offer was the ASU logo, and he said the University of Arizona State. So if you mess up the name of the school you are either trying to commit to or brag that you have an offer from, you cannot go there. That school must pull your offer. Mm-hmm. There is someone that monitors this. I'll be that person if need be. And you just can't go there. You're out.
Okay.
I mean,
no argument. None. Unless you say that you're going to Oklahoma University, in which case.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
I mean, you can understand where
yes. No, that is like the only one. And my gripe with that is the school. Why do they call it that? You can't be OU, but technically the University of Oklahoma.
You can, though. They do. They do it quite well, actually.
It's really dumb.
It's the real OU.
No, it's not. Because it's literally not OU. This right here is OU. Ohio University. Also a school before that one.
Yeah. But just because you're first doesn't mean you win.
Listen, you're either first or you're last. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, well, we're talking when you show up or the standing. No, I'm on board with this. I think this is a great thing. I think we should definitely do this. If you're going to tweet out about where you're committing, like maybe just put in like 45 seconds of research. Like go to the school's website, check how it's set. Like I saw University of LSU one time. And it wasn't even the University of Louisiana State. It was literally University of LSU.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I think this needs to be actually like probably legislated by the United States government. We have all these like debates and everything going on. Like the primary thing that I want to see them solve is this problem.
Yeah, we need some sort of like filter on social media so they can detect whenever you do that. And then, like, it just automatically, like, they send a notification to the kid and the school to be like, listen, you can no longer recruit this kid because he messed up your name.
Imagine the stress level for coaches trying to make sure that no prospect messed up the name of the school. Like, you're on, like, cloud 9. You just got this 5-star prospect, and you're really happy about it. And then he tweets out that he's going to the University of West Virginia, and then you lose him.
Yep. And then you realize they didn't come there to play school.
They didn't come there to play school. Okay, I had my own little complaint section item. Well, look, it's kind of half-baked at this point, and we went really long on, like, animals. So I'm going to save it. We'll do it next week.
Okay.
And instead of that, while I'm at the whole awesome segue thing that I've got going on as a theme for this episode, I'm going to do another really awesome segue. Straight from kids who can't get the name of their school right on Twitter to a kid who is a 2-time All-American, a preseason All-American this year, and absolutely knows how to say Towson, and that is running back Shane Simpson, an absolute beast. He literally might be the most dangerous player in the Colonial Athletic Association, and he was kind enough to join me on a call for this very episode. So without further ado, here's what we got with Shane. As promised, we are here with Towson running back Shane Simpson, 2-time All-American. He was a stats third-team All-American as a freshman, not to mention first-team All-League and CAA Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then first-team All-Purpose according to literally everybody last year, coming off a monster year. Towson's going to open the 2019 season ranked inside the top 10. And this guy's going to open the season as a unanimous first-team preseason All-American. Shane, first of all, thanks for taking some time to hang out today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So after everything I just said, what is it like to be you right now?
I guess pretty cool, but like that's I don't really live on the past. Like you said, it was 2018, and right now it's 2019, and my step is just looking forward to the season and accomplishing new goals as like individually and as a team.
No doubt, and we'll get to your goals individually and as a team, and kind of forecast to the 19 season at Towson. But before we do that, I thought it would be best to, take a look back at your career up to this point. You grew up in Easton, which has, blue collar sort of reputation, best known probably as the home of boxer Larry Holmes. Soon, though, it could be better known as the home of Shane Simpson. What was it like growing up in Easton?
Funny thing is, I moved to Easton in fourth grade, so I was about like 8 or 9 years old. So like I was relatively new to the area, so I really didn't know what to expect coming in there. But as the years go by and I'm growing up through this, going through the system, you definitely say like you hit it on the head with the blue collar type football, because that's what it is. The Lehigh Valley produced a lot of Division One talent. Even there can even be more as well, because we actually do have a lot of great athletes in the area. So like athletes like Kaiser White, who plays for the Chargers, Saquon Barkley, everybody knows he went to Whitehall. So, and Kevin White as well, he went to Emmaus. So we have some well-known guys from the area, and I would like to add to that.
No doubt. You mentioned, so you moved there in the fourth grade, and you just rattled off a bunch of guys that that either came alongside you or before you that did some big things from that area. At what point did it occur to you that you had a chance to have a really special football career as well?
Um, I would say when I was young, because that's when I first said out like to my parents, like, mom and dad, my sister was at the table, and I was like, out of nowhere, I would say, I want to play in the NFL. That's what I'm gonna do. And then from that point on, that's how I handle myself, and that's how hard I worked to get to that point. But there was probably, I think it was my senior year in high school, when it really when it really tapped into me, and that's when I had my big year. Um, and then especially the one game in particular I got to point out is when me and Saquon played against each other, and obviously me and Saquon are real good friends, so we were talking trash to each other before the game, even during the week, like saying, I think we were ranked higher than them in the state poll at the time. I think we were two and they were 10 or something like that. And then we were just like, it's gonna be a good game. I can't wait to play and stuff like that. And then after that game, I had 7 touchdowns. He had 4, and most importantly, we won the game. So right in that moment, I think that was like, yeah, we can really turn this up.
No question. So, yeah, I mean, everything you just said, you set program records for single season rushing yards, single season touchdowns, career receiving yards, career receptions. Did I forget anything else? Okay. So, with all that being said, they, whoever, 24/7, whoever it is, they give you 3 stars. Pitt doesn't offer you. Penn State's nowhere to be found. Purdue, Wisconsin, they recruit you. They don't offer. Needless to say, the opportunity at Towson's been everything that you could have wanted, and you've obviously maximized that opportunity. But your path to this point, and again, 2-time All-American, looking to make it 3, looking to make a playoff run now at Towson after getting back to the playoffs this year, and then ultimately hearing your name called next April. No one was really rolling out the red carpet for 16 or 17-year-old Shane. Does that motivate you, feeling like that slight as a teenager now?
Yes, it definitely does. Like my path hasn't been easy. Obviously, I went through a lot of adversity with like either injuries or grades not being where it was supposed to be, but that just helped me mold myself into the person and player that I am today. And I'm actually glad it happened, so I can tell either my future kids or future athletes I'll coach after football's done or something like that, and tell them like this is what you got to do. Make sure your grades like your grades are the most important thing, because if you can play, you can play. They're gonna find you, but you need the grades parts to be situated as well. And that definitely think the adversity and everything that I went through helped me to where I am today, and that's how I carry myself, and that's how hungry I am to get my name called next April.
Now, I love how you pointed out what the kids, are going to think when they look up to you, because I think a lot of guys get caught up in their own moment, their own circumstance, their own head, whatever the case might be. and they, feel sorry for themselves, make excuses. This didn't go my way. I would have, I could have, I should have. If this would have happened and this guy would have saw me, or this teacher would have done this, and you're not that guy. I think you're obviously a shining example of somebody that used everything that they went through to make them better. But I do think that that's really cool that you want to be that role model and that that poster child for maybe the overlooked athlete that has a lot more potential than some of the larger programs might see.
Exactly. And then we have obviously a couple of examples like Khalil Mack only had 2 offers come out of high school.
Yep.
Tariq Cohen went to North Carolina A&T, and there's plenty of more guys that went down the path that I went to. So my thing for the kids or people like growing up is just to, like, don't settle for the big name school if they don't come your way. Um, that'll be my biggest thing, because if you can play football, they'll find you. Like, they just I forgot what school. Well, I think it was Charleston, the D2 school. DN that has blind out of one eye actually got picked up and drafted this past year, and he had all things stacked against him, obviously being blind in one eye and stuff like that. So, if you can play, you can play, and they'll find you.
No doubt, no doubt. So you mentioned Saquon. Obviously, he played at Whitehall, right next door to Easton, Lehigh Valley Conference rival. But it was you, not Saquon, who was named 2014 Player of the Year by Lehigh Valley Live. Do you draw? I'm sure you do, but you speak to it. Do you draw, some sort of inspiration from just seeing what Saquon has accomplished in his own career?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially like me and him we're good friends, so we would like talk throughout college, like either help each other out, like with different moves or something like that, or just ask for advice on certain stuff. So definitely seeing, like, I called it back in high school. I already knew what he was gonna do, and I didn't know if it was gonna be this early or anything, but I knew he had all the potential in the world to do so. So I'm very proud of him, and it's just motivating me to even step my game up even more to join him.
Another running back that I wanted to bring up, and again, I'm sure this probably happens a lot, but first time we've talked, Terence West, the most famous Towson running back in recent memory, and he recently turned his FCS gig into an NFL starting job. I would imagine his shadow loomed large for Towson running backs that came before you, but as you started to transcend in a lot of ways what he accomplished for the program, I would just wonder, what does it mean to you to be in a position like that where you're, arguably now the face of Towson running backs, and it's looking like you too will have an opportunity to continue your legacy at the next level?
Yes, definitely. Terrence, I've actually met him. I forgot when it was, but me and him obviously talk. We talk every now and then now, um, especially after his 2013 season, which was record breaking. Um, Definitely motivated me, especially when I was getting recruited by Towson. Um, they started pointing him out. Darius Victor as well. Um, so definitely seeing those guys do what they did at this level and having success was a big thing for me coming here. Just so, like, it's a running back, it's a we basically call it RBU just because of the stats that we
Sure.
have and the players that came through. So definitely, it's an honor to be the face of the running back um, committee in at Towson right now, and I'm looking to build that on and hopefully pass it on to somebody else as well once I'm done.
Now, I don't know if this is true, but I read that when you got to Towson, they actually put you at wide receiver to begin with. Okay, so with that in mind, now knowing that clearly, your ability to catch the ball out of the backfield is going to be valuable. Potentially could even move out into the slot in some formations. And again, I'm thinking next level. I'm not necessarily thinking this fall. But assuming that it's not either of the guys that we already mentioned, is there a player in the league right now that you try to model your game after, or a running back in the league that you look at and you say, yeah, I can do the types of things that he can do?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't model. I really like I pick and choose, like, from different players, like what I like. I don't really model just one person, but if I had to pick like certain guys in the league from like the running back, like running, receiving, kick return, punt return, stuff like that, I would say um, LaShawn McCoy, Tariq Cohen, a little bit of Saquon, even though he's bigger, but he's still a shifty back. Um, and Alvin Kamara
Yeah.
and Devontae Freeman, size wise.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the Alvin Kamara comp was the one I was waiting for. I think that the way the Saints use him is a lot of the way that I hope to see you utilize this fall. I think that'd be exciting for all of the fans that tune in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thanks in large part to you. You guys got back to the playoffs last year for the first time since 2013. And, this year, obviously, alongside guys like Shane Leatherberry and Tom Flacco, not Todd, sorry, Tom. The expectation for the offense is obviously very high. The expectation at Towson is as high as I can ever remember it being. What's the feeling like within the program right now, and how are y'all managing the expectation?
It's definitely high. I can definitely say the attitude is high, but there's something different about this group. Just because we did at the end of the day we did not win the CAA title, and that was literally in our hands to win, and we let it fall through our hands. So I know it pisses me off inside. I know it pisses Coach Ambrose off inside, and I know you could tell throughout the team that it pisses them off too because we had the chance to win the title outright, and I think we let that affect us in the end of the day, and it showed in the Duquesne game at some point, and definitely don't ever want to end a game like that or end the season like that in general. So just being able to finish games and just give our all to our opponents. Nobody can. I firmly believe nobody can stop us offensively, defensively, special teams, because we definitely have the best special teams group in the country, I could say, and one of the top offenses in the country as well. And don't sleep on our defense this year.
I won't. Okay, so look, I'm going to head out to the Baltimore area for CAA Media Days next month. And I also want to make a trip out to Towson to see inside the program, see what you guys are about. I've never actually been outside of the Baltimore airport, so I need you to put your tour guide cap on right now and kind of walk me through what I need to hit, what places do I need to go, what are the attractions. Food is a big deal to me, so if you could single out some food that I should try, all of this would be very helpful.
Okay. So you're getting off the plane coming to Baltimore. I'm definitely a big food guy, so you hit it right on the head. So you can go to the Inner Harbor. A little pricey, but Fogo de Chao sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a Brazilian steak restaurant. You get everything. It's I don't know if you ever been to a restaurant that has the green and red.
Oh, the
Uh,
flag?
they're it's the holsters on the table, and then it's green for go, bring
Oh,
out more
yeah.
food, and then the other one, the red is to stop because I'm full.
I don't know if I've ever turned mine red before, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And there's a lot of good food places in Baltimore, so I can't. That's the only one I could really single out. But anything in the harbor is really good, especially if you want crab or crab legs. So Maryland's known for that. So I think you can really get good crabs anywhere or good crab legs.
Well, that's what I had to ask next was, obviously, you go to Maryland, you expect to eat crab or crab cakes. I've only had the crab cakes in the airport because, again, I've never left the airport, but they were all right. But they weren't what I expected for a state that prides himself in their crab. So I don't want to get you any enemies out of this deal, but is crab overrated in Maryland, or did I just not go to the right place?
In my opinion, I never had crab even in my 4 or 5 years here, or even in my life in general. Never had a full crab. Crab legs, I could tear them up like nothing, but I never really had a whole crab.
Okay.
Never.
I mean, well, neither have I. I've only had the legs and the cake. I didn't know that the whole crab was a thing, so I'll have to look into that. I feel like the crab leg takes a lot of energy. I usually have some injuries on my hands after I'm done, but it does typically seem like it's worth it.
Oh yeah, very good, very good.
All right, well, hey, I've had you on the phone now for about 20 minutes, so I'll cut you loose because I know you got plenty going on right now. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us today. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person next month, and I'm even more looking forward to watching you this fall. Shane Simpson, Towson running back, big things coming from this guy. Thanks very much for joining us today, man.
Okay, thank you for having me, and see you then.
So, huge thank you to Shane, the pride of Easton, Pennsylvania, for coming on the show. I can think of no better guest to kick things off for this season with, considering where we're headed with FloFootball, and I'll get to that in just a second. But before I go there, I just want to make a bold proclamation about Towson.
Okay.
And in a few weeks, we'll have a preview show that'll be dedicated to this sort of discussion, kind of the lay of the land in the CAA, and so there'll be time for it. But I want to make sure that I'm an early adopter. I want to be on the right side of history here, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out on June, whatever the day is, 27th?
June 27th.
27th. Okay, June 27th, 2019. I just want to go on record as having said that I think Towson is going to be one of the best teams in the country this year.
All right.
I think they're a team that could legitimately win the CAA, make a playoff run. Wouldn't shock me if they're in Frisco playing for all marbles. I think they're that good. I mean, offensively, there's no question. They're absolutely loaded. Tom Flacco, brother of Joe.
Yeah.
I'm sure he gets that all the time.
Yes.
But, baseball player as well.
Do you want to know what? So I was doing a little research before the show. Mm-hmm. The most surprising thing or stat I found about Tom Flacco.
Do tell.
He ran for 700 yards last year.
Man, he's an athlete, man. I'm telling you, two-sport guy, played some baseball as well. Like, insane. Just picked it back up and was good enough. Actually had a really good early part of the season before he got hurt for the Towson baseball team. And, yeah, dude, he's a baller. He realistically could be the best quarterback at the FCS level. Realistically could also join his brother at the NFL. Yeah. I mean, he's that kind of a player. If you put on the first quarter, don't put on the whole game. But if you put on the Towson Wake Forest game from last season, the first quarter is a clinic. I mean, from Flacco to Shane Simpson, really their entire offense, they had Wake Forest on their heels. That's the level of talent that you're working with there. Now, obviously, when an FCS team is playing at an FBS team, the depth is not the same.
Right.
Eventually, things are going to happen. But that first quarter was really impressive. I highly encourage that watch. But, yeah, so you look at last year, it's a win for them because they went back to the playoffs, which they ended the playoff drought, got back to the playoffs, and that's huge. But they were like razor close to having a much better year. They led Delaware 18-6 at halftime, and they led by 3 with 2 minutes to play. Lost that game by 4. That should be a win.
Yep.
They trailed Maine 21-7 at the half, and then came back and tied the game at 28 before losing by a touchdown. They lost to JMU and Duquesne to end the season. So those were their 5 losses, counting Wake Forest. The last 2, and really this is, I think, going to be the crucial thing for 2019, is they were playing better than their opponent, and they were very much in those games early on. But in both cases, they absolutely collapsed in the second half. And they led 10-7 in the second quarter at JMU, and then proceeded to get smoked the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. And then they led Duquesne 10-0 with a few seconds left before the half in the playoff game, and then inexplicably gave up 31 unanswered to lose that game. And then again, not for nothing, they were tied at 14 with Wake after 1, and then, they got obliterated after that. But they lost the game 51-20, but they were 31-point underdogs. So if you were on Towson getting the 31, that would have been 34-point dogs. So they only lost by 31. Yeah, so they covered. Just want to mention that. Yeah. But if you were on them at 31 points, that would have been a wild ride.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
That's right. So yeah, I love Towson in 19.
And the preseason polls we've seen so far, they're starting in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could. I think it was Athlon.
Athlon, they're 10.
Okay, well then it wasn't Athlon. Might have been Lindy's. Had way up there.
Gotcha.
Way up there, like top 5. So before everybody else gets on the bandwagon, I just want to make sure that I had a seat.
You are the driver of it right now.
I am. I mean, defensively they got to catch up a little bit. Obviously Shane said that he likes their defense. He thinks that they're going to have a big bounce back year, and yeah. So Towson Tigers, mark it down. I like them for 10-plus wins and a little playoff run.
All right.
And so obviously we've been talking a lot about the Colonial Athletic Association. I alluded to the fact that I thought UConn should join the CAA.
Yeah.
I may have had an ulterior motive there, which is that, in case you missed it, and you may very well have, Flo Sports and the Colonial recently partnered, 4-year deal. Will provide live and on-demand coverage for the entire league, but particular emphasis on football and basketball, for which we'll have over 120 games between now and March.
Can't wait.
It's really a landmark deal. The Colonial becomes the first college conference to select a streaming OTT company as their primary media partner. Shouts to us. And the league also becomes the first comprehensive college conference partner that we've had. So, we have a lot of Big 10 or Big 12 stuff on other verticals, but the CAA deal is company-wide. Every sport that they have, I think there's 22 of them, you can find on some Flow vertical. But Flow Football and Flow Hoops will definitely be the home of the CAA as we move into the 2019-20 season. We will announce the full football schedule at CAA Media Day. You can look for both of us there.
July 23rd, I believe.
July 23rd, that's right. We'll be in Baltimore for that. But in the meantime, folks are just going to have to take my word for it when I tell them that there will not be a better FCS offering at any other place.
Yep.
We are definitely going to be home for that, for the championship subdivision, but more specifically for the CAA.
The best conference.
The best
in
conference.
The championship subdivision.
In the championship subdivision. Article with math performed by Kyle Brackey to come up with that. So, yeah, it's going to be a really awesome 2019 season.
I'm really excited.
It's June, so in some ways it feels a little early to kick it off, but it's really not. Again, the opening next week, and then we get rolling in Media Day in the middle of the month. So you can look for us every week from this point forward, and look forward to, again, a monster year of football on FloFootball. Definitely the most exciting year we've had.
Absolutely. There's no secret. This is the biggest deal we've done, and it's going to be the best games we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really excited to show what we can do given the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awesome. And, again, CAA has been a phenomenal partner even just in the brief time that we've been together. I've really enjoyed working with them. So between Media Day and, a little summer road trip and then, going to some of the bigger games this year, it's going to be a fun deal. And again, a really great partnership. So we're pumped about it. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I've got to cover today. Did I leave anything out?
Do you want to talk a little bit about the opening at all?
Oh, you're right. Hold the phone. Opening.
It's a good little tease for...
How did I forget the opening?
I don't know.
That in my notes. Bad job by me. So we're going to the opening.
Yes.
And
Monday, right?
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the opening is like the elite high school football showcase in the country. Obviously, Adidas and Rivals do their thing, but the opening is a phenomenal collection of talent, just 5-star kids all over the field. And so I went last year. I really enjoyed, being there for it. But the other thing about it is us having the Freedom Bowl and the Battle on the Border on Flow. I thought it would be a great opportunity to get some time with guys like Robbie Ashford, Jalen Knighton. So anyway, those are the guys I'm excited to go see. I'm going to get up there a little early so I can talk to Robbie. Maybe we'll do some content with him while we're there. What else do you want to say about it, Kyle?
I'm just excited to be there. I didn't get to go last year. Really excited to get there. I think we're going to be doing next week's show from there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we are. We'll do a little brief video version at the opening on the field. Sweet. And then we'll probably do primarily an audio version of this podcast after the fact, just because we'll be running around doing some things. But look for all the content on the site. It'll be great. Some guys who I forgot to mention, Keziah Holmes from Cocoa and Paul Chio from Milton, they will also be there.
Yep, Clemson commit.
Yeah, Clemson commit. Keziah Holmes is freaking electric. Jalen Knighton might be the fastest guy in high school football.
I got, just yesterday actually, lost watching some Robbie Ashford highlights.
He's talking about another guy who's an athlete.
He's an insane talent.
Yeah, so recently committed to Ole Miss for both football and baseball. Looking forward to meeting him and looking forward to doing it. Obviously at the Star, it's at the pinnacle of football, the home of America's team. So
it's a very nice complex. I'm just glad that you guys have something.
Yeah, well, we don't have many wins, but that's changing. Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl while I'm here making bold proclamations. Right. Let me get that one on record as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur are going to have maybe some issues.
That is the most overblown story I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know. I'm just saying what I heard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Aaron wants to audible. Coach LeClaire ain't about it.
It's so overblown.
Okay.
I'm not even getting into this.
All right.
You're trying to bait me.
Yeah, I was. All right, we're really leaving now. So we will see you guys next week live. Not really live, but we'll see you guys from the opening.
Kind of live.
Live-ish.
Yeah.
And then we'll
When
probably
we do it,
something.
it'll be live.
That's a good point. It'll be live in our life. From the opening, Frisco, Texas, next week. Until then, please don't forget that the key to running the bootleg
Is doing it naked.